All right, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're doing a little bit of a chat, obviously, about Lunar Classic, the overall market. And I thought it'd be interesting today to talk to Tyler Hill. Now, I don't know if any of you guys know this guy. He right now thinks that you can see him, but currently he's actually not on the screen because I got this cool little setup. Going on. But we're going to talk to Tyler Hill. He has been on this journey, this crazy crypto journey with me for about 2 years now. It's been incredible. And he is awesome at TA. So we're going to discuss what we think's happening in the market. We're going to look at the charts. And if you guys have any questions for either of us, pop them in the chat and we can ask away. We can ask all the questions. So hopefully, if this works, it's going to be the first time I've got two people on the channel live. All right, Tyler, you're live on the channel.
Yo, what's up? What's up, dude?
There we go. It might be peaking a little bit. Guys, let me know in the chat how it is, if it's peaking at all, if you have any issues. Yeah, so we are live. We got 67 people watching the channel right now. We got Tyler Hill, the man, the myth, the legend. We got 8 likes though, guys. Come on, you gotta hit up.
Yeah, we gotta work on that. We gotta work on that.
Hit up the like button, guys.
There
Come
we
on,
go.
man. Come on, guys. We're out here. We're out here. All right, we got
Sweet.
one guy talking about Peking duck. But yeah, how you doing, Tyler? What's up?
Doing good, man. Doing good. It's been a pretty weird market to say the least, but I think we're all if we're still here, we're definitely stronger than most. So, it's just a game of waiting and watching and figuring out the best moves. That's all.
Yeah, as we speak right now, we got Bitcoin, like what it bounced from like 19 and 0 to like what we on now, 19,400, I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
19,500. We had a nice little pump there. We got some nice support down there just at the 19,000. So things are looking relatively good in my opinion. Where do you think we're going to go? What's happening with Bitcoin?
See, so I'm starting to get the feel of, a change in the market at minimum. I feel as if the bearish sentiment, the negative sentiment's definitely still within the same realm. Like I think people are still not that optimistic about the market right now. But I think with what we can see going on right now, people are so much more willing to buy at these current levels just because we've not seen it go below this level. It's kind of like this self-fulfilling prophecy that whenever you finally establish a strong point of support around 19,000, every time we go under 19, everyone's like, "Oh, this must be the new bottom." So then people just start buying it up. And so it's a position where it's kind of weird, right? Because I feel as if the macro feels like it's getting worse, honestly. Whenever you look at now, the inflation may be coming in a little bit more hot than expected. The housing market's struggling. It feels like it's getting worse, but I think people are either just used to it, one, or they just don't care one way or another because it's not having an effect on the market as much. So I say on Twitter all the time, I keep posting about it over and over again. I genuinely believe that the bottom percentage wise is probably much closer than people realize, even if time wise, we still have a long time to go. So we'll see, but it's interesting for sure to say the least.
I mean, there's just two different sides of the coin, right? We've got long-term investing, which why do I really care if it goes lower or higher from this point? Because I think Bitcoin's going to go over 100K. So if it goes down to 10K, I'm happy, right? This is what people like in the comment sections of both of my channels. People don't seem to understand that I'm buying. So if it goes down from here, yeah, it's going to hurt me a little bit if I see my portfolio drop 50%. But as we speak, I only have in my portfolio the things I'm going to be holding until the next bull run. So it makes no difference whatsoever to me. Obviously, there is an emotional a factor here, but without that, put that aside, I want it to go lower so I can buy more. So it's like if it does go lower, I want it to. It's a hard thing right now to really be someone who tells anyone where we're going because actually nobody does know. Like nobody actually knows.
No one knows. And that's the thing is like, and sorry, my microphone's falling here, but the thing is so many people are saying the bottom is definitely in, and so many people are saying the bottom is definitely not in. And I think we need to be realistic in the sense that is it better views to pretend like you know what's going to happen and just pray that you're right? Yeah, absolutely. But whenever we look at it from a realistic situation, we've never experienced this. We've realistically never experienced it. And that's what I try to remind people is that, first of all, comparing current situations to Bitcoin and 4 years ago, 5 years ago, I think that's a detriment. I don't think there's a point in doing that simply because of the fact that we've never experienced this macro environment almost ever, honestly, especially here in the US. Like you look at the '01 crash, I feel like that one's kind of similar, right? Tech stocks and everything were going crazy, but whenever we have to understand something is that access to invest into the broad market in 2001 was so minimal that it didn't really have that much of the retail investor input, right? People were investing through stockbrokers and things like that. There wasn't necessarily that you couldn't just go on a phone and invest into something, right? There wasn't social media, Twitter, Instagram, where everyone's talking about go buy this, go buy this. This was more of a from a corporate perspective, they got rug pulled, right?
Yeah,
Or you
yeah,
look at '08 with the housing crash. The housing crash was kind of a manifestation of its own. The housing crash was kind of like an individual bubble that burst that then had residual effects within the rest of the world. But what we're seeing right now is a big bad mixture of a bunch of different things, right? We of course have the war going on with Russia and Ukraine. We not only have that, but obviously there's the housing market struggling right now. There's a lacking of liquidity. There's high inflation. There's a supply side issue. There's so many different aspects that are creating issues right now that trying to compare what's going on now to 2013 or 14, it doesn't make sense. Obviously, there are similarities, and those similarities can give signs, but trying to sit here and say, oh, based off of the RSI specifically, since, in 2018 it hit this point, and we're at it right now, it must go up. It's just, I think it's a detriment to most people, honestly, and I don't think anyone honestly knows what's going to happen at this point. So I'm just waiting to, trying to see what's going to happen and figure it out. But I agree with you. I don't think there's I don't think that's a good idea.
I think that was incredibly well put. I mean, for anyone who doesn't know, Tyler's like 20. What are you, 20, 21?
21. I'm 21 now. Dang it,
Oh,
I'm
he's
getting
21.
older.
Oh, he's 21. We met when you were 19, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I say meet. It's the new world order, right? When you meet someone, you meet them on the internet. But yeah,
Right.
I mean, we're on exactly the same page. I think what I was gonna say, everything you said wholeheartedly, I agree with. What can I just ask you? Are you looking at me? Can you see me?
Yeah, I have both streams pulled up right
Okay,
now.
cool. I was worried that you were just looking at a blank screen. You're doing very well to be
Oh
talking.
no.
But yeah, I think both of us, me and you, do exactly the same thing in this space. One, we both agree we have no idea where we're going. So dollar cost averaging into what you believe is the way forward.
Yeah.
And you can believe in Bitcoin, you can believe in Ethereum, you can believe in Luna Classic, you can believe in XRP, you can believe in whatever you want. But find the ones that you believe in right now. And that's where the power is, because we both agree that we are going to have a bull run. It might be
Yeah.
tomorrow, it might be in 10 years, but that's the horizons that you have to be cool with. And then again, you can also make the best of the volatility by short-term trading. And
Yeah.
so we have best of both worlds. As long as you're paying attention to what's happening, you can make money long-term and short-term. You just need to be willing to put in the effort, right?
100%.
With that said, there's going to be links down there in the description. If you guys want to sign up to like any of those exchanges, it'll be super awesome, man. You can get some mad bonuses right now. But Tyler, just as we were speaking, I think while we were speaking on Zoom, there has been news of the Binance burn. And I think a lot of people who are watching want to talk about that. I'm not sure how much you pay attention exactly to Luna Classic. I've seen some of your TA videos, but right now as we speak, let me just jump onto my screen here, and you're still there. Has it? Oh no, it's got you. Oh bloody! 1 second, guys. Sorry about that. We've got a little bit of a technical malfunction there. 1 second. Let me just change up this. Yeah, that one. For some reason, it always just switches my screens around, like when I change.
Yeah. Where is it on Twitter? I can probably pull it up.
It's bizarre. No, I got it now here. So
Okay.
apparently, Binance has burnt 2.5 billion Luna Classic. I'm not sure exactly what that is in. They're still number one, 11 billion in total. Let's see just how much that is in dollars, so we don't have to waste. Yeah.
And that's from the tax fee, right?
Yeah, so they're burning every week with fees. It's fees for trading. So instead of it being fees for the 1.2% burn, it's actually just people trading, which I think is awesome, right? We were talking about this on the channel a lot. There was a lot of people who were against Binance for a while there, but I think it's great. They had no reason to do that. Do you know what I mean? Like burning loads. And I see people are pretty disappointed. They burnt 2.5 billion, which is $660,000.
That's a lot still, one way or another.
The first burn was 1.8 million from my memory. Second one, just over 1 million, I think. This one, around 600. So it looks like we're halving. But what people have to remember here is the important numbers are the volume, right?
Yeah.
So when the volume goes down, we got the markets. Binance has a market share of around 50%. So when this number goes down, which it has done over the week, today it's up 21%, but when this number goes down, there's going to be less burning. And not just because it's not the 1.2% burn, because the volume is simply trading. And I think there's a lot of misunderstanding around volume and holding Lunar Classic and the fact that burns, that like the way the burn works is because of the volume. So Binance can only burn what people are doing. So if you aren't already on Binance and you're mad at the amount that Binance has burnt, which is completely unreasonable, by the way, because $500,000 is an incredible amount of money. But if you're mad at it, the hands down best thing you can do is go onto Binance and start trading Lunar Classic. That's what's going to help the community, and that's what's going to help the burn. I mean, that would be number two. The number one thing you can do is just move your money from Terra Station 1 to Terra Station 2 and just for no reason burn 1.2% every time you move it. But no one actually wants to do that.
Right.
So
well, if you want to throw up my screen real quick, I can also make another point. Just whenever it comes to the charts, I mean, the charts show it all. If you want to get that pulled up, just let me know when it's up there because I can't see it.
Yeah. 1 second. Of course, we had it perfectly set out, and then now they've both switched each other around. So
yeah,
we should be back. We should be ready to go. Here you go. You are on the screen. Yeah.
Okay. So, and another thing to consider is, of course, like you said, right? Whenever it comes down to how much of a burn is going to happen, again, it's all dependent on volume. Without volume, less burn, and so one thing people don't understand is that it's not going to be a process where they can just simply burn, a third of the supply and then it just goes away, because a lot of the supply is held by people. So in order to access certain aspects of the supply to burn it, people need to be trading it, paying those fees, or having the 1.2% implemented on other exchanges. And so when you look at you can just look at the charts here, right? I feel like a lot of people kind of disregard the charts. They say technical analysis doesn't work, which I agree to that to a certain extent with certain aspects of crypto. But I believe you can look at this from a psychological perspective and just get an understong of what's happening. People are...
Let me just cut you there. Sorry to cut you off, but I think that's a key. I think it's something that I didn't understand for a long time. A lot of TA is actually based on psychology. It's not just
100%.
random lines on the chart. And I think a lot of people don't actually understand that. The lines on the chart are these psychological levels. Like whatever charting tools you want to use, it's all based around psychology mostly. Of course, some isn't. It's based around volume and all of that stuff. But these lines are prominent. Do you know what I mean? Like if you draw in these trend lines, it more often than not, it reacts to the trends. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
So it's like, yeah, anyway,
100%. And so when you look at it, you have to understand this, right? At this current point, this is a good sign. And some people may not understand that because they say, well, it's just going down. But let's talk about why this is a good sign and why I think although the burn may slow down, and the burn is the number one problem still. Don't get me wrong. That is the number one thing we should be focused on, the number one thing that needs to be fixed because it's the biggest detriment, so it needs the most fixing. But whenever you look at something like Luna Classic, right, whenever it does something like this, after something like this, not even going to talk in super technical terms, it's a good thing. Because understand this, you know why this thing was going up so crazy right here? For the most part, it wasn't necessarily because everyone was just that excited, right? It was more that, something good happened. So some people got excited, which made more people excited, which made more people excited, which made more people excited. It's a trickle-down effect because we're in a bear market. And in a bear market, if there's an opportunity to make gains, everyone that possibly can see it is going to get in. That's just kind of how it goes, right? Some people are down 30%, 40%, 50%. Some are down 80%, 90%. And then you have something like Luna Classic coming around, making gains, making people money. So obviously those desperate investors who are down want to capitalize on that. But the issue is that when they do so, especially in bear markets, that's why they call them bear market rallies, because they don't usually last. What happens is that the moment it starts going down, the moment we start to see problems and struggle, everyone starts to kind of death spiral out. It's what happens, right? They say, well, I made some of my gains back on this little run here. I'm going to get out now because I don't want to lose all the gains that I've made back because I'm already red. I'm already negative. And what usually will happen is that in these bear markets, we will see these falls happen super hard and super fast because all of these desperate investors that got in, that FOMO'd in, are going to FOMO out extremely fast, right? But what we can see from Luna Classic is that there is some type of establishment of fundamental value that people appreciate. And what I mean by that is that they look at Luna Classic and think there is potential here. Because if there wasn't potential here, why in the middle of a bear market are so little people selling?
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, we can see it. It's going down, but it's not going down like this. It's not going down even right here, right? We saw the change in momentum, just similar here, right? This was our path. And then we started to go sideways a little bit. People are more willing to hold because they believe there is some type of inherent fundamental value that Luna Classic offers, especially if the supply can be fixed. And I think that this is one of the most important aspects of what's going on, is that volume is decreasing because not that people aren't necessarily as excited. No one's excited. It's crypto right now. We're in a bear market. So obviously we're not just going to see huge pumps like we do in 2021. But it's the fact that we're not seeing huge crashes over and over and over again that go to show people are willing to hold it and stay in it, even if the price is slowly trickling down, because they see the value that it offers. And so, sure, volume may be down. Sure, burn may be going down as a result of it. But it's the general fact that after such a strong run in September, it's still willingly holding some type of value, which tells me that this thing actually has a shot. Because you guys know, in May, I was a big critic. I was a huge critic. I was like, unless they figure out something with the burn, until they start to work on the supply, I don't see a reason as to why this can go up in the future. But now the tide's changing, in my opinion. And I feel like it's offering up some potential. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised, honestly, like, because I've been covering it for probably 2 months now. So we were getting involved, like, basically when the market crashed, everyone was mad. Then everyone got bored, and then we got this sideways. And for me, in my head, I'm seeing that there's enough people here that are excited about Luna Classic, and then you know that you can if you've been in crypto long enough, you can understand the vibe of a community, right? If there's something good there, and that's kind of what I got, right? But anyway, we pumped significantly about a month ago, and I drew in these 3 trend lines. The lowest one being around 0.24, right? Mm-hmm. And all the way up to 0.30, and those have played perfectly basically since that pump. And I'm super surprised that we're not even at 0.24 right now, down there at the lowest one of this sort of breakout, right? We got kind of another real like buy zone, I would say, around the 0.18, like a heavy support there. But these ones higher up were the ones that I wasn't really expecting to hold, and they've all held for, you know, about, what is it? What are we on now? We're on the 17th.
About a month now.
Yeah. It's held that, and that's after this pump. So we're getting some nice consolidation between like that 0.24 and that 3 mark, which is awesome. I think that's super powerful for a coin in this space. And it did a 5x. So it did a 5x, and now we're still up about 2.5x, which is incredible. We're thinking about Bitcoin, for example. Of course, it's different, but that did a 300% bear market rally, right? And then it lost all of the gains. So we could still lose these gains, exactly. But in 2019, Bitcoin did a 300% move, traveled sideways for a bit and lost it all. But for this to be holding up in this market, like, I was fully expecting this to pump and then go all the way back down to where it was, the accumulation zone. So it just holding here is pretty interesting stuff.
I agree. And I think it's just a acknowledgement to the fact that the community actually has faith. And that's what's interesting to me, right? Like, I'm not much of a over bull or over bear on my channel. I'm just kind of a neutralist. I'm more of a realist, I suppose. I feel like I just look at things with a sense of realism, in that Luna Classic has a lot of proving to do. There are a lot of obstacles that are going to have to be overcome. There's a lot of barriers that are going to block the path to success. There's a lot of things that are standing in the way when you look relative to something, a newer crypto that may not have the same barriers. And so it's a testament to the community that is developed that say that even though we're in this current market, even though no one knows if Bitcoin's about to capitulate to 14K, 15K, even though Luna Classic realistically, could go sideways for another 2 months, 3 months, we're willing to hold it. We're willing to, stand the test of time. Now, are there a couple sides of this coin? Yeah, I feel like there are some people who may be still so down from the original Luna that when they look at this one, they're like, well, I'll just hold it and see what happens anyway. There's that crowd. But I think what I'm more interested in is the fact that the people who were buying in here aren't mass dumping it right now. That is what is the most intriguing to me with this whole move right now.
Yeah, like I said, that's what I was fully expecting to happen, right? Like I'm super surprised that we haven't had a mass dump. Now, with that aside, I'm just checking out the chat here, and again, people are still talking about this Binance burn, and the fact that the burn. I don't know what you think about the burn affecting the price, but we saw this with the first one, $1.8 million worth of burning, right? Didn't really move the price too much. The second burn didn't really move the price too much. This one didn't really move the price too much. And I think something that it's very clearly missed in the space is it's not the actual burning that makes almost any difference to the price. It's the fact that nobody knew it was going to happen, and then Binance announced that it was going to happen, and then the excitement around it is what moves the price. Burning alone, with it, the market cap's what now, $1 billion?
Right.
What is it?
It's up there. It's
Yeah,
pretty close.
$1.6 billion, right? So $1.6 billion market cap. A burn of, even though, all in probably $2.5 million. It's like nothing, right? It's not going to make any difference like in the short term. It can make a hell of a lot of difference in the longer term, but the burning mechanism itself is not what's going to do anything. Just like the staking announcement, the staking itself isn't going to do anything. Any of this stuff doesn't do anything. It never does. When Ethereum announced that it's going to go to proof of stake, and people were expecting the day that the proof of stake happened for that to affect the price, it's not the physical or the not physical, but the actual thing happening that affects the price. It's just people's mentality around it, and that's why we continually see buy the rumor, sell the news.
Yeah, agreed. And we did get a little 10-minute mark message here just now.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get Zoom because I do have it, but it's not on this. It's not on this for some reason. But yeah, just keep talking. I'm just gonna get this done.
Yeah, and the thing that people have to understand as well is that I agree with you. The burn mechanism itself is a supplement, and that's what I try to remind people. It's a supplement that is going to. It could supplement you a lot, right? I don't know if anyone here works out, but it's kind of like creatine, right? Like you can take creatine all you want, but if you're not working out, the creatine's not going to really do that much. But once you implement these supplements with already strong development of a foundation, the fundamentals, that's whenever the supplementation of that can lead to expedited growth. And the issue is that if Luna Classic doesn't do anything from this point forward, if they don't develop their use case, they don't continue to on ramp all of these new companies, these new projects that kind of want to run on the chain. If they don't do any of that, nothing's going to happen with the price, right? It'll probably go down over time. The thing about it is that the burn, like I said, is a supplement, and what gets supplemented is growth, right? So if they go forward and they start doing a lot, right, the fundamental value of Luna Classic starts to grow. The supplement of the burn itself is going to help that growth go faster. But they have to continue to develop. And that's the biggest aspect of it, is that you can't just burn things and it gets better. Sure, whenever you look at it from an economic perspective, supply versus demand, well, if supply decreases, naturally price is going to increase. But one of the most important aspects of supply versus demand is demand. And so whenever you think about it, if supply is decreasing, but demand is not, increasing whatsoever, it's realistically not going to change that much. Whereas if supply is decreasing, but fundamental value is increasing through development and through on-ramping projects and do all of these things, and demand increases versus the decreasing supply, then you're in a position to see expedited growth. But until then, it's not going to have enough of an effect, right? They would have to somehow have a wallet that has 10 to 20, 30% of the supply and just burn that. But if we're going strictly off of volume, it's not going to be enough. There has to be an increase in value of the fundamentals of the entire system, right? So I definitely agree with that 100%.
And the volume, I think, like, people are holding on to just like one or two things. You know what I mean? Like, if this is happening, that's the only thing that's going to get us to, a cent, for example. But it's all about a number of different things, right? A number of different things that are out there that we can jump into, and bringing utility to the chain, bringing burns to the chain, staking, more exchanges, all of that sort of stuff is all going to bring value. There's not a single one thing that needs to do anything, right? I'm just gonna pause us quickly while we switch over to a different thing, and we'll be back right in a second, guys. Just hold out for 2 secs.
Okay.
All right, you're muted anyway. Yeah, I'm trying to upgrade. But I don't actually know. I'm worried that I've not actually signed in to the. Yeah, I'm thinking we just do that rather. So I just end this and then open it up again. Just I've made you host. Just share your screen. All right, guys. Sorry about that. It seems we are back. Tyler, do you want to try and just talk there, just so I know that this is working?
Yeah. Little test here.
Yeah. We're good. Let me make sure all the others are on. Yeah, cool. Yeah. So if we've blabbered on about utility and what we think. Let me just pull up the chat and see what we have question wise. Guys, right now you can ask us anything you want. Tyler's a big TA guy. I'm also do TA, but also the overall market. But of course, Lunar Classic. Anything you want to talk about, hit us up in the chat right now. We got 129 million people watching right now. So if you guys could just smash up that like button so we can crash the YouTube algorithm, it'd be absolutely great. It's a Monday night here. What time is it for you?
It is 10 a.m. on a Monday morning.
Oof. You in training this morning?
No, not this morning. I had a little hip strain, like I pulled a muscle in my hip, so I have a little doctor's appointment or a chiropractor appointment in like an hour and a half. Go get that worked on and then maybe train tonight. But if not, I might just be resting today.
Nice. I did my F45 this morning, so I've been smashing it.
Hey, got to, especially in this world, got to do something outside the computer.
Yeah, boy. All right, so first of all, we got someone asking me if I've staked my Luna. Right now, the answer is no. I have zero of anything I own in crypto staked. Nothing. There's nothing I own that's staked right now. The reason for that is because of the crash that we had in May. I am not willing at this point in time in the bear market to have anything locked. And you might say that that's not good for the Lunar Classic community, but I did just burn $2,200 worth of Lunar Classic. I'm number 20 on the burn list, so I am doing my part. So, but I don't personally stake anything. Before the May crash, I had UST staked or held on Anchor. I had loads of staked coins across all of different DeFi. Me and Tyler both coordinated our DeFi efforts. So much stuff. But right now, I have nothing because I want access to everything. Now, if you watch the channel here, I'm not a moon boy, right? I'm not sitting here telling you that I think Lunar Classic is going to $1 tomorrow. What I am telling you is that if Lunar Classic pumps, let's say, another 5x tomorrow, believe you me, if that's a significant part of my portfolio, I'm taking profits. Now, I believe in Bitcoin for the long term. I believe in Bitcoin. I will be holding Bitcoin. I believe Bitcoin is going to be something that, makes me super rich. But if Bitcoin today, tomorrow morning, I wake up and Bitcoin's back at 60K, believe you me, I'm selling some Bitcoin. Like, I'm doing it. So I don't want nothing staked. That's the reason why I'm not staking anything, because I'm here at the end of the day to make money. I believe in the Luna Classic ecosystem. I believe in the community behind it. But I also believe that some people can be easily led astray by this diamond hand mentality and this moon boy mentality, where we think that prices are going to go to $1 tomorrow, 10 cents, a cent, whatever it is. And we forget the reason why we're here. We're here for financial freedom at the end of the day. And there's no arguing that. I still believe in crypto, but I also believe that setting yourself up for life is more important. And there are so many people that missed out on that opportunity in the last bull market. Just quickly, that popped into my head. Someone who did that, the Dogecoin millionaire, his story was awesome. And he did a crazy thing, which I'd never, ever, ever do myself, recommend anyone, is he took a loan to buy Dogecoin. With that aside, he made multiple millions of dollars, right? But the problem is he got caught up in the diamond hand mentality. And I did the same thing in 2017, 2018 bull run. I got caught up in the diamond hand mentality, and I didn't actually understand that things that go up come down. And I know that seems super normal and basic, and like I'm talking to people like you're an idiot, but I don't think that at all. I personally thought that. And I didn't understand that things can crash, right? So he made $3 million from $180,000, I think it was, and sold zero, and he is no longer the Dogecoin millionaire. And if that Dogecoin was staked, but he wanted to sell it, he wouldn't be able to. So that's my reasoning, and I'm not staking right now. Maybe one day I can create a validator or something like that to further this community, something I definitely want to do. But what we need is to build this community more. So you can smash up that like button, hit the subscribe button, check out Tyler Hill's channel. It's just under Tyler Hill Crypto. He also has another channel where he kicks people's heads in, which is also cool. But, yeah, you have anything you want to say on that staking? I don't think you're staked, right?
No, I agree 100%. Right. I feel like we all, if you were here in May or April, May, June, that little time frame, I feel like you're probably a bit paranoid about blocking it, putting it anywhere, taking it out the external wallet, even if it means staking it through the external wallet. It just the place I'm at right now is that I believe we've entered into a completely new macro environment. I feel like, as I said, I feel like each aspect of this current economy is a mixture of all of other ones, right? Some of 2001, some of the 1980s, right? I feel like people ignore what happened in the 1980s, but there's a lot of value there. It's something that a whole different world, right? A completely different world, but economics are economics, and the dollar is the dollar. And so there's aspects of the 80s, of the 2001 crash, especially, I feel like we're not as bad as in the 1999, 2000, 2001 crash, and the 2008 crash. I feel like there's many aspects of each one of those that have been implemented into the current economy, and I don't know what that looks like. I genuinely have no idea what something like right now creates, right? Imagine we immediately get inflation going down. Everything starts to rally really well, but then another aspect implodes, right? You look at something like the war gets worse for some reason, and that then causes even more tension on inflation or on supply side, the supply side of everything. And then next thing you know, inflation starts to skyrocket again, and then we had some type of bear market rally, and things really get ugly. It's like you never know how this market reacts, and I'm the type of person that doesn't take unnecessary risks. So the way I look at it is I have it all locked away. I buy the cryptos that I like. I'm a Bitcoin fan. I'm an Ethereum fan. I'm a Polygon Matic stan. I love Polygon Matic. There's other ones, Solana, ADA. Of course, Luna Classic is one that I think is a fun one to look at. I feel like there are great ones, but I feel like the best thing to do is give myself options. And I feel like when staking it or putting it into any type of DeFi right now, I limit my options. And in a time in which we have no idea what's going to arise, I don't really feel as so comfortable, honestly. So it's more of a game of let's wait and find out. And if I miss out, I miss out. But one way or another, I feel a lot more comfortable, having full control in this situation,
There's a lot of chat that's happening. I just think that like someone said, what's the difference between earning 5 million and 7 million in our lives? And I think that it's just you're not understanding my point and Tyler's point of this whole mentality around both diamond hands, taking profits, all of that. With that question, you're still asking me what's the difference between 5 million or 7 million, but you're negating the fact that crypto can still go to zero in that time. And that's what we're accounting for. So if something does a 5x, like right now, if Luna Classic did a 10x, right? A lot of the community won't sell anything and it will come down. It will happen, right? And even on an uptrend, things come down. Now, an uptrend would still be sustained if Lunar Classic did a 10x from here and then came back to just higher than where we are right now. That would still be a sustained uptrend. And these things happen in an uptrend. And if I take profits on the way up, then it crashes back down. Cool. I can then buy some more without spending my own money again. Then it goes up and then it goes down. I do the same thing again, rinse and repeat. This is exactly what I do in crypto since I lost my entire bag in 2017. So I've just done that and it's worked incredibly well. Now, the last time I did it, where I sold and made profit, was in the bull run, almost at the top. And then we started to come down and I've slowly trickled the money in right now. But not all of the money. Not all of the money by any stretch of the imagination. And the fact is now we can go to zero, but because I took profits, now don't get me wrong, Bitcoin can also go to zero. Lunar Classic can go to zero. Solana, all of this can go to zero. But because I took profits, I am now set for life. And even if Lunar Classic and Bitcoin and Ethereum go to the moon from here, I'm set for life. And if they go to zero, I'm set for life. Now, I'm not saying this to brag at all. I'm saying this because I want the community that I've built here to come with me, because the mistake that I made by not taking profits was a huge mistake, and it cost me 3 years of my life, but monetary value of time, right? And just now, by learning that mistake, and I lost, 6 figures. It was a little tight, slightly less than that, but I made that from, $3,000. The exact numbers, $3,000 to around $75,000, and then I lost it all down to $1,800. The only thing I would have changed in that was just taking profits. And what I'm trying to do on these channels is I'm just talking about my experience, and so you guys don't need to have to lose $75,000 in order to learn it, right? You can just learn from my mistakes. And it doesn't mean I didn't make even bigger mistakes this time round. I lost multiple 6 figures in UST, but that in comparison to my portfolio, because of the lessons I learned in the last one, was significantly smaller. And then again, I can apply that to the next bull run when I'm not going to keep a bunch of money in an algorithmic stable coin. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I think it's great. I think that there's an opportunity to go up, and this channel is not for moon boys who will not take profits or will get mad at me for taking profits, because believe you me, I'm taking profits if we get profit.
And the issue that arises is that hope is a crazy emotion. It's a crazy emotion. And I feel like there are people, whenever we see things like Luna Classic, I think QNT is going to experience it relatively soon here. Is that whenever we're at the bottom of these bear markets, people tend to forget somehow that it can go down even further.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a weird thing to me. It's like I remember every time. I don't know, people tend to forget reality, but whenever we were approaching $30,000 this year, earlier this year, everyone was saying we didn't go under 30K last summer. We're in a position in which we can put in the double bottom. Then we're going to have, I remember they said it was like a macro descending wedge. Oh no, now it's just a run flat correction. And now it's a Zimmer run flat correction. And then it's all these different things where everyone's saying it's not going to go under 30. It's going to put in a barely lower low, shoot back up to 45, come back down to 40, go up to 70, and we're going to 100,000. And it's like, everyone says we can't go lower. We can't go lower. And then we definitely do. And I feel like we're in a position in the market right now where we're battling. Don't get me wrong. We are battling. At $19,000, $18,000, we are absolutely battling. But the issue is we can go lower. And understand this, right? If Bitcoin crashes to $13,000, for example, everything is coming down. All of it. It's all coming down. And so even with Luna Classic doing so well right now, panic can happen on the flip of it, on the flip of a dime. And so one thing people need to understand is that when you can take profits, take them. Take it from two people. I would say I've lost over 6 figures accumulative while trading and investing and things like that, whether it be from UST, whether it be from, Celsius is another thing I consider a loss. There's many different places I've lost money. And Connor, I know you can attest to that as well. And I've made more than I've lost, obviously, but I would have made more had I been taking profits and not be under this very weird mentality, this gambling mindset where, well, what's the difference between a 4X or a 5X? The difference is that you can lose everything. Right. And so it's a mentality of just like, this isn't the time to be taking unnecessary risks, and not thinking something can crash all the way to zero is an unnecessary risk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to switch cameras real quick here too.
What are you switching to?
Just this. There we go.
Oh, he's got the dual camera setup.
One of them died, so I had to switch off.
All right. Well, we've been pretty. I don't know. I wouldn't call it bearish, but let's call it realistic here on the overall markets. Do you want to do a little bit of TA, both up and down, for us to see where we think
Yeah,
Luna Classic might go next?
yeah, absolutely. So let me know when I'm on, and
Yeah, you're
I
on.
will get going. So, okay, so whenever I look at this, Luna Classic is a really, in my opinion, it's a pretty easy book to read right now. Okay, I feel like a lot of YouTubers they try to do too much. They learn about a new indicator, and that's they want to use that, right? But I feel like it's a measure of supply demand. I feel like it's a measure of do I want to buy, do I want to sell, and so what I do is I look at a couple things. I look at support and resistance. I look at trend levels. I look at Fibonacci levels in the RSI. Those five things alone will tell me everything I need to know. And so, very clearly here, when I look at Luna Classic, I see what is happening on the top side. The top side is we have a level of resistance in which every time we approach, we're unable to clear it. Now, immediately when we reached it this first time back here, after this, the Binance news and everything, we did get a pullback pretty substantially and pretty quick off of it, right? This little fall here, just 4 days, 5 days, this is about 25%. Okay. But what I'm noticing is that there is a change in tide. The reason I say that is because both times now, after pulling off of here, we've approached this level again, and we're holding it quite well, right? I mean, we've approached it, we've approached it, we've approached it, and we're not getting these hard capitulations off of this level. And so what that tells me is that we are in a position where we are much more likely to break through this trend line to the top side than we are to start losing support to the bottom side. Now, is that a guarantee? No. Could we very possibly go into some macro death, just full blown death where we start to capitulate to 12? Sure. I mean, we can, but I like to look at, likelihoods here. And I believe that while we're sitting above this 25 to 22 level, which is not only held back here, pretty much we immediately recovered right here and also held over the last few days. I believe we're in a pretty good spot. And I think that we're pretty safe from capitulation while we're holding this level. And I think it is more likely that we're in a position to start to see growth to the top side. Now, even though that is likely, would I be willing to bet on it right now? Probably not in huge amounts, right? I wouldn't be doing any huge gambling here, huge longing, huge shorting until two things happen. First and foremost, I'm looking for the break of trend. I need that trend to break. I need us to get back above this. The question I always ask people, why, whenever we're in something like this, are you buying? Why are you buying when we are guaranteed to go down? While we're under this level, we are absolutely 100% guaranteed to go down. Now, when we break it, we're in a better position. Or if you're on the bottom side here and it might bounce to the top side, sure, better position. But why are you buying while we're in a downtrend? A beautiful example is BNB. Let's look at the macro. When you look at something like BNB was in this steady downtrend for a year. People were buying back here because they were like, oh, it's a descending wedge, and descending wedges statistically have a tendency to go up. Yeah, just because it doesn't mean it will. And BNB went just down and down and down for a year before eventually getting this breakout. And so when I look at something like Luna Classic in a position like we are right now, I say I'm not buying until we break trend. First and foremost, we got to get back above this line. Secondly, getting back above the line is a good step, but it's not the last step. The last step is clearing your most recent macro high. Now, what do I mean by that? As we came here, we put in a high number one, we put in high number two. Now, high number two was a bounce off of your 786 to 618 Fibonacci levels. It's not super important to know the technicals, just know that this is typically where resistance is found. Okay. This is just typically where we find resistance at. So, what I would be looking for is are we capable of not only breaking trend, but getting back above and setting the higher high? Once capable of doing that, I believe we are in position to see growth. And that's when I would flip a lot more bullish. That's whenever I would start to have a much more bullish outlook. But while we are sitting both below a macro downtrend and setting lower highs, I think it's risky. Look back here. Beautiful example. So we obviously had this strong 2-day bar, right? Huge, huge movement here. And then we established a trend. Our trend here looked something pretty similar to this. Now, what you can see is that we were hard capitulating anytime we reached this level. Okay. What that tells us is that the bulls were still not in power and they were still not ready to make this move. The moment we started to hold near the line, we broke the line. And that's why I feel like right now that we're holding near the line, there's a chance we break the line, and that's always great. But once we are capable of breaking that level, we get the new macro high, we backtest that support, we show that the bulls are back in control, that these bears aren't going to fake us out back to the downside. then we're in a position to see some growth. And this is what I would be looking for here. I would be looking for not only just a breakout. Sure, there may be a nice little small trade to make here, but I believe the bigger, more, reasonable trades come once this new higher high is capable of being established. Okay. And so where I'm at in terms of bullishness is while we're below this, I'm not thinking about buying this thing right now. Now, if you're a long-term holder who believes that there's a future for Luna Classic and that you want to accumulate no matter what the price does, I'm not talking to you. Right. I believe in dollar cost averaging, and I think it's a great thing. But I'm talking to the people who want to big accumulate, mass accumulate, buy a lot, expecting gains immediately. It doesn't come until we break this and until we set the new higher high. And so at this given point, I'm simply waiting. Now, what's beautiful is that we do have a strong level of support here. Anytime we have entered into near this level, we have either held it here. This was obviously a point of resistance, but once we broke it, we were good. Held it here, lost it here, but near immediately recovered it. We tried to hold it here. So it just goes to show this little zone is very strong. And so we're in a position right now that as long as we're above 22.5, 22 to 25, I believe we're in a good position to see growth, but I need to see the break of trend. If we do lose 22, I believe it's very likely we come back towards this 18 pocket, and then things maybe get a little bit more grim to the downside if that's lost. So at this point, definitely not bearish, definitely not worried about this move to the downside we're seeing, but more in a position of saying, okay, we need to start making some upward progress soon because this support level is coming very, very fast. So, that's kind of where I'm at, more of a neutral standpoint until we get a little bit more volatility here.
Yeah, man, no, I like it. I think what's important here is just that the way I see it is simple. Like, if you are someone who wants to accumulate and you don't have significant amounts of money that you can hold on to, or you don't mind dropping in the next, let's say, year, the easiest thing to do is take a little bit of profits on the way up, reinvest those profits when we have an opportunity. Like now, if we get rejected again at this descending trend, like we can take the opportunity and you can reinvest that money. Now, taking profits does not necessarily mean that you're out of the game. 10%, 20%, 30%, whatever you want. So yeah, I totally agree. And again, like Tyler said, buying above when the trend has broken, if you are looking to make gains in the short term, then you're more likely to go upwards if we're actually in an uptrend rather than just trying to guess when the market goes red. So yeah, no, I totally agree.
Yeah. And it's a game of understanding one thing is that although things look great and they feel great and Luna Classic is making a rebound, there are still the barriers that we talked about, right? There's still the bad taste in people's mouths. And I understand that they're not under the control under the same team, the same people. Is pretty much completely unrelated at this point. But it doesn't change history. And history says that people have a bad taste in their mouth. People want to get some of the money back that was lost back in May. People want to recapture some of those gains, not just from the original Luna, but from the broad market. And until we start seeing signs that the bulls can beat them, I feel like you're putting yourself in a pretty dangerous position doing a lot of buying but before that, right? And so it's more of a game of, not lines and Fibonacci's and things, but more of a psychological level of understanding. It is always a battle of bulls and bears. It's always a matter of do the bulls win or do the bears win? Now, we're in a macro environment which is bearish, so that puts a little bit more emphasis on the bears. But I believe that the bulls can win. I feel like they can be in a great position. And that comes down to, again, increase of fundamental value. We need to see on-chain development. I do personally know a crypto company. I'm not going to disclose them, but they are talking to the devs of Luna Classic, in which they are looking to implement some of their, I'm trying to say it without saying too much. They're trying to implement some of the aspects of their company on-chain with Luna Classic, which is a great sign to show that the developers are on-ramping companies and projects and things of that nature. And as that happens, then we see if the bulls can beat the bears. But until then, just play it safe and play it smart. It's the best way to go, in my opinion. And I have never seen anyone go broke playing it safe. So, that's just where I'm at.
Yeah, man. I totally agree. I think there's a lot of money to be made here, but we can make it by not risking too much. You can stay safe, and every time you take a risk, you can lower that risk when the price goes up and taking that profits. I'm going to stop blabbering on about taking profits, all right? Because it's never ended. It's never ending for me. But
if y'all are new to Connor has been preaching taking profits since like 2020. So
right.
It's never gonna end. I'm warning you now. He's not gonna stop.
And I'm proud of
I could ask Connor how his day's going, and he was like, "Yeah, just having a good day. Make sure you take profits." But anyway, how's your day going? It's like, my guy. But that's Connor's thing. It's worked well for him though, and people need to learn from people who do well. I feel like we're maybe in a world where people don't take the lessons learned from
They
people who
don't
have
take
accomplished things.
profit.
And yeah, no, I know. And you look at someone like Connor, and Connor's not someone who's going to flex on everyone. Um, but it is important to learn from the things he's accomplished. And I do that. I've done the same thing. And one of the biggest things that has led Connor to where he's gotten to is the fact that he takes profits when he makes profits. So, people get married to investments,
It's
and,
hard.
a
Taking
lot of
profits
marriages end in
is hard. Yeah.
divorce.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you
Totally.
got to
Yeah.
be careful.
And like, I find like buying the dip is easier than selling the top or selling near the top. So,
100%.
all right,
100%.
guys, we've done technicals. We covered Binance's burn. We both think it's pretty all right. I know some people are unhappy about the $660,000. I think that's pretty incredible that they're still doing that. If we get the volume up, then if we get the volume up, we get more burns from Binance. If we continue to make noise on Twitter, hopefully more exchanges jump on board and they put in the burn. All of this stuff is just short-term excitement, which is great. Short-term excitement is great, but this community, what Lunar Classic is building is something that I personally think is going to go into the next bull run. Now, I'm going to put it in the same category of what we saw huge gains in, Dogecoin, Shiba, and a couple of these other hype coins, right? The community behind them, the hype behind it, that's where we see the most amount of gains. But that doesn't happen until the bull market comes back. When people have more disposable income, when companies have more disposable income, when people aren't scared that tomorrow there might be some huge disaster where they need their money. Do you know what I mean? So those are all things that are going to take time. And I think we have the time, and we can use this time to learn how to trade the short term, to learn how to research projects and accumulate these things that are cheap right now. Because there's so many things. Lunar Classic, crypto isn't even the only thing. Property will probably come down soon. We got stocks and shares coming down. All of that stuff we can accumulate during this time, and there's no rush. So short term we got good stuff on the horizon. Long term we got even better stuff, and I think focusing on the long term is way better, and it's going to be way more profitable in this bear market. Now, don't get me wrong, the mind shift switches when we get into a bull market. Do you know what I mean? We're on the short term. We're trying to get in and out quick. Now we got time. We can relax. Tyler, how stressful was the bull market, man? Like every day, 8 hours a day in front of the charts.
I was so stressed, especially doing technical analysis during it. It's just the thing about it is that in a bull market, it's not necessarily the bull market itself, it's the volume of the bull market. The volume leads to volatility, and volatility leads to stress. And so people, they just don't remember, certain aspects of the bull market. Whenever we'd see a 10-15% drop in one day in the middle of the bull market, and everyone's like, oh, blow off top just happened, we're going to zero. And the next thing you know, it's up 35% the next day. It's just it's insane. And so value rest, value being able to relax, and value being able to not stare at charts all day and freak out.
It's so nice.
It's not going to last. It's not going to last. It's going to get ridiculous again, but who knows, right? Maybe the next bull market is the last bull market any of us need to be a part of, right? So
fingers crossed.
Yeah.
I have a couple of questions coming into the chat here. Let me see if I still got my display on. Yeah, I do. So first of all, there's a question there asking the volume. So if you want to know the volume, all you have to do is head over to CoinMarketCap, head over to Terra Classic here, and you'll see the volume. 250 million, basically 240 million today. I think you said that you want to invest all of your money into it. So I don't know if you're joking, but that's pretty far away from what we've been discussing. So I would say just rewind the stream and just rewatch everything we've been discussing. And I would not personally, with my own money, be investing it all into Lunar Classic or anything. I absolutely love Bitcoin. I'm basically a Bitcoin maxi, a little bit. I'm like 75% Bitcoin maxi, but I wouldn't invest. Yeah. A lot of it. I wouldn't be investing all my money into Bitcoin. Not even a chance. You got to diversify. So that's how you see the volume. I wouldn't say the volume shouldn't have really any bearing on why you'd want to invest. If you want to trade it because of the volume, short-term trading, that's a different thing. But I do suggest that you get your skills up before you start doing that. Right now, I actually have, if it ever loads for some reason, is this gonna? You're gonna do me like that? You're gonna do me like that? Anyway, you're gonna do me like that. All right. Well, I have $10,000 worth of bonuses for BitGet right now. So if you want to sign up, they are there, but for some reason it's just done me like that, so it's gone, but you can't see it. But yeah, if you do want to be trading the volatility of what's going on, you got to know and understand the charts. You got to understand basics. If you're asking questions in the chat whether or not you should buy something, it's definitely too soon to be trading. I have the best interests of all of you guys literally at heart. That's the most important thing. I'm only in a position on YouTube because of you guys, so protecting you is more important than anything else. Do not start trading with leverage or really trading for the short term if you don't really understand these things. And there's free everything on the internet. You can learn it all on YouTube. So just stay safe out there, and don't invest just because the volume is up.
If I'm going to be honest, trading with leverage, especially right now, is more than likely, I'm going to be dead honest, the easiest way to lose all of your money right now. I would honestly say, from what I have seen from my community, especially, if you start trading on leverage any higher than 3 or 4 or 5x, you are probably about 85% likely to lose everything. Like, you might be that one person that just so happens to go long at the right time, but the vast majority of people are going to lose it all. Right? There's too many sad stories of people who made $100,000 during the bull market and then lost it all leverage trading. So right now, if it's my opinion, I would say now's the time to get educated. Right? If Luna Classic is the only thing you know, go learn something else. It's not going anywhere. Right? It could go up, obviously it could go down, but in terms of the chain, it's not going anywhere. It's going to be around, I do believe. And I feel like we're in a situation where it's important to start educating and start genuinely understanding what the core values of crypto are, so that in a bull market, you're not trying to figure out what in the world a Solana is, or what is an ADA, or what is a Matic, or what is a Cadena, or any of these other ones, right? Have an understanding of it all, educate yourself, make sure that you're aware of, the ins and outs of this, so that when the time does come, you can fully capitalize on the opportunity and not waste that time trying to learn while everything is just exploding, right? So I agree with Connor, and I feel like it's a situation right now. It's take your time, don't do anything too stupid. If you're thinking, is this a dumb idea? Probably, Now, mind you, I've done some dumb stuff. Don't get me wrong, but
I still do dumb stuff all the time. Just use less than 1% of your portfolio to do it with.
and you're fine. And just educate. Now's the time for education and learning. And I feel like you guys are in a good place to do it. So I'm excited about what's next.
All right, man. Well, guys, we still have 142 people watching, which is awesome. We've had over 1,200 views, which is incredible. I can't thank you guys enough. If you could do me a favor, if you've enjoyed having Tyler here on the channel and you've enjoyed our chats, please do just smash the like button right now, so I know I can bring Tyler back on. We can do some more TA. I can bring other guests on, whatever you guys want. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comment section once this video is live. We can do whatever you want. Trying to bring as much value as possible. We got the likes zooming up right now, so really appreciate that. If there's any final questions, smash them in the chat right now. We'll have about 1 or 2 minutes left, and then we're gonna I guess Tyler's gonna start his day and I'm gonna end my day.
Yeah. Get this day started, go get a little chiropractor work done on this hip of mine, and hopefully not be an old man all day.
Yeah, the youngest old man I know.
Oh, while the chats are coming in, Connor, dude, got a new addition to the bookshelf, bro.
Oh, look at that.
Always adding. If y'all want to see more bookshelf additions, come to the channel.
Yes.
But
yeah, head over to Tyler's channel. It's down there. I have some bookshelf things. There's a plant, and another plant, and then some more plants, and then a fake plant, a grass wall at the back.
Just know, when I first finally meet Connor in real life, I'm going to leave Dubai with something from his bookshelf. I'm going to do it. And there's absolutely no stopping me from taking it.
You could take this if you want.
Okay.
If anyone recognizes what that is, I'm not going to say, but take your profits, kids. All right. I think we're about done.
Sounds good.
One question, should I make that's a good question. Wait, should I make an exit plan for all of the coins I invest in? That's a really interesting question. A great question to end on. The question is, do you plan to be in those coins for the long term? Because if you do, it's very hard to come up with a plan. Like, you could say, for example, right, Bitcoin. it's 20,000 today. I plan to get out at 40,000, or I plan to get out at 60,000. And you can totally do that. And I would stand by a plan like that. Let's say you plan something that I actually really like to do with my more risky investments, not so much Bitcoin, because I'd never sell all of my Bitcoin. But if we take a risky investment, what I personally do, and I actually just did it with USTC, and I told you guys about it completely. I showed the whole journey on the channel. I think it was about 5 days ago. I actually bought a whole bunch of USTC. I always get confused with that one. I bought a whole bunch of it. It went up about 50%. I think 45%. And I sold everything I put in, my personal money, completely out. Now I have a completely free bag of USTC, and I'll just hold that. If it does 100x, if it goes back to $1, probably won't, but if it does, happy days. But I have no risk around it. So that's how I play the risky investments. And I do that in a bull run, except I let them go further. I let them go 100%, 200%, 300%. Then I pull everything out that I put in, and I let the rest ride, so I have no risk. And a lot of people hate that because they think, well, I could have made, X amount more. And yes, if it goes higher, you could make X amount more. I'm not playing the if game. I'm playing there's profits there, and I ain't getting broke because I'm going to take these profits. So yeah, that's the risky side of things. That's what I would do with anything risky. I don't know what you're investing in. This is Josh, so thanks for the question. I'm not sure what you're investing in, but for the less risky, for me, that's Bitcoin. If Bitcoin does, what we're looking for is an out of character move, is normally what I would say in the market. So if Bitcoin now went to 35,000, I'm taking profits from Bitcoin, and I'm taking profits from everything else, because that's an out of, it's like when someone starts acting erratically, that's one of your friends. There's something wrong with them, right? And they're probably gonna be normal again soon, or not normal, but you know what I mean? And that's how I would see Bitcoin. So even the less risky, I'm taking profits. They're gonna be less profits. If Bitcoin went to 30%, I'd probably sell maybe 10 to 20%, no more than that, just because I want more Bitcoin. So I wouldn't want to take the risk of it going even higher, because I'm going to if it then doubled again, I would take profits up there at the 60K. So yeah, that's how you can plan it, and you can define that plan right now. You can take, if you have 10 coins and 8 of them are safe, 2 of them are risky, or whatever the ratio is, and you can make up the same plan for each of them, where you're going to take it. Once it hits that, I'm not going to have any emotion. I'm going to take profits there. So that's how I'd do it. Yeah, you got anything to add to that?
So, I mean, personally, and I'll make it quick. I know we got a few minutes here, but the biggest thing I do is I kind of layer it. I have a layer of exit plans, and I don't apply them. I just apply them to everything. So, personally speaking, again, I look for anything out of the ordinary. Anything out of the ordinary is typically a good sign that you need to do something, right? A huge crash, probably not a bad time to buy. A huge pump, probably not a bad time to sell, right? That's general psychology. Now, there are technical things that I look for, right? Just to list a few, I look for, if I make a trade, for example, I open up Bitcoin at 19.5K, it shoots up to, $21,000, 4-hour RSI, daily RSI starting to print bearish divergence, Bollinger Bands are fully extended, all that good stuff, just your typical indicators. Maybe we hit a 1.272 fib extension or something like that. Then for me, it's like, yeah, likelihood of us going up much further than this is unlikely without some type of pullback. I'll take some profits, right? So I have just general profit taking is an unordinary move, right? Something out of the usual. The second one is whenever all indicators are showing that a pullback is likely, then I'll usually just slowly ladder out. The biggest time I'll take profits is whenever we hit the stupidity phase, right? I always look for the stupidity phase when everyone's like, Bitcoin is never going to go down. It's going to 250K. My favorite YouTuber in the entire earth, BitBoy, is clickbaiting as much as he can.
You mean Connor Kenny? My favorite YouTuber.
That's a joke, by the way. Once we start to see the mania phase, that's when I'm getting all the way out. That's when I'm like, okay, people don't believe it's gonna go any down. It can't go down whatsoever. It's only gonna go up. It's gonna 20x. It's gonna 100x. We're gonna take over the world. That's when I start to really get out. So I look at it more from a layer, like a little bit, a good bit, and all of it. But it's more just dependent on the nature of the market. Obviously, I kind of said we go to 35K right now. You best believe I'm out. I'm going very far out. Maybe even up to 50% of my whole portfolio, because likelihood is probably going to see some correction. Now, if I'm wrong and we get upward confirmations, then I'll re-enter, no problem. Yeah. I just missed out on 5% gains, but I'm totally okay with missing out on a little bit of gains to protect myself from a lot of losses. So that's my general psychology on exiting.
I totally agree. That's exactly what kept me safe, even in the bull market. You know, a lot of the times I sold way too early, but it really didn't matter because, you know, once I had confirmation again that we're going to continue, I can re enter with slightly less money. We can go up. Anyway, we're going to talk about this forever. It does seem that everyone has loved the chat, so we should try and make this a regular occurrence on the
Man,
channel.
at least
Um,
once a week.
yeah, yeah. Leave your comments in the comment section when this goes live, and any questions that you guys ask now, we can re-answer them later in the week or next week, whenever. So yeah, thanks for being on the channel, Tyler. I really appreciate it. Thank you everyone for stopping by. It was awesome, and we will catch you, I guess, in the next one, right?
Yes, very soon. Very soon.
All right, guys. See you later. All right, we are muted. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.